Hello and welcome to another episode of Diaries of a Haemophiliac. Today I'm going to be speaking about how I learned to inject. So unlike a lot of other haemophiliacs, I didn't start learning how to inject until I was like 16 years old, which is quite late to the game, some people might think. I was in high school, I was slowly starting to become more independent, and I realised, do you know what? It's my haemophilia, I should be taking control of it and medicating it. So I got in touch with my treatment centre and they were like, Jay, you want to learn? Finally, after all these years. I think for like 5 years before, they were always asking me, so Jay, you ready? And every time I would always be like, nope, I don't think so. When it comes to learning how to inject, you have to want to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be a painful process learning how to do it. I don't mean painful as in sore. I just mean painful as in oh, I don't want to do this. This is stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't know what that was. So eventually I learned how to inject, and it took about 3 weeks to a month. Part of the process with my treatment centre was they gave me a little booklet which basically said, okay, these are the types of veins that are in your arm. Now we're going to test you on that, just to make sure you actually understand. Another one was testing and observing me wash my hands to make sure I was doing it properly. I know what you're thinking, wash your hands properly? Like, how can you not wash your hands properly? What I mean by that is actually getting into every sort of little nook and cranny, getting the thumbs, getting underneath the nails, you know? Getting everywhere done. I got to practice on a dummy arm. The point of this is so that the patient who is learning how to inject can actually get to feel what it's like injecting into a real arm and into a real vein. The process is the same as actually injecting yourself. You stick the needle in, you can actually feel it going in and then going into the vein. You get some drawback or something that's kind of like Ribena, I guess. You then flush saline, which is basically purified water, back into it. Then you take the needle out and you put some gauze onto the place you just injected to make sure that there's like no blood, Ribena leaking out. I also got given the option to try and inject a nurse, a physical human, and get some drawback of their blood and then just flush it back through with saline. But I chose not to do that because, if anything, that made me more anxious than learning how to inject myself. So once I was fully trained, the first time that I actually did inject myself was at my treatment centre, because then that way they could watch me do it. And then about after another 2 successful attempts at the treatment centre, a nurse then did a home visit to my house. The home visit was just to make sure that I had kept all of my training and I could still inject whilst I was at home. And thankfully the first time when I did do it at home, I couldn't actually get my vein, which was great because so far every time I had done it at the centre, I always hit the vein. The good thing about this was, obviously I then started to panic, so I was like, oh my god, I failed. However, the nurse was there to help me, and she helped me move the needle about, and then eventually I got it into the vein. And then business as usual, really. Learning how to inject is a really rewarding thing. I have still had times where I've missed the vein once or twice. That's the worst when it happens, but it's fine. It's fine. Because we've done it plenty of times before, we will do it plenty of times again, okay? Yes, that's the attitude. Being able to shoot myself whilst I'm away on holidays or attending events around the world, it's very liberating. Sometimes it can be frustrating having to inject yourself. For myself, I've always acknowledged that this is something that I need to do for my health to make sure that I don't have bleeds. So being able to acknowledge it's for your own self-care is a really important thing, I would say. Thank you so much for joining me this episode. If you liked it, please do give the video a like. And if you want to watch another one, there's some links down there and down there. And I'll see you there. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a cheeky little comment. I don't know.